Yeah, just got the jacket on to keep me cool, and my hands are taped up just for the blisters, and just keeping cool really because it's so humid. Certainly not like this down in southwest Wales at a good track down there. But no, just going to get a good start. Maybe use a push to pass, maybe not, we'll see. Have a go around the outside, who knows. It's going to be fun.
How did the car feel on the recon laps?
Yeah, pretty good, yeah, as expected really. But look up in the sky and it looks a bit iffy, doesn't it? So it's, I think we're okay in both wet and dry. And just take what comes really, just have a bit of fun and really want to win after the disappointment of race one.
Yeah, race one obviously didn't go very well for you. Are you sure you've got the problem sorted for this afternoon?
Fingers crossed. I'm sure the boys have fixed it. It was the ECU in the end, so couldn't get out of first gear. Disaster. So, yeah, just going to get stuck in now, knuckle down and just go for it.
Well, it's your team manager, Katie Clemens' birthday today, so let's hope you can bring home a podium for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Danny's certainly sounding very much back in the vernacular, and maybe would you want to buy a used car from that guy? Great racing driver. The cool suit, by the way, is designed to give the driver a lot more comfort, but you do have to carry a weight penalty. But that weight penalty in the case of Danny, who is probably only about 55 kilograms wringing wet, is not a big issue. And if it keeps him cool, and he did seem to have a problem with heat in Chengdu, where it was much cooler than it is here, it's going to give him a more comfortable outing.
Well, there we are, Piercarlo Ginzani on the right, chatting away, Mario Armondo there. But let's get back up to the top end of the grid, and with Danny's rival on the front row, Adam Carroll.
Adam, we've had 5 different winners in 5 races so far, but starting from pole, you're poised to be the first repeat victor.
Well, I'm going to try hard. You know, it's still a little bit tricky getting the cars off the line, but just going to concentrate and try and get a good start into turn 1 first and just get my head down and go. You know, the conditions are changing a little bit. The wind's picked up, but you know, hopefully our balance is good, and I'm just going to try as hard as I can.
So far in every season of A1GP, the winner of the Malaysian feature race has gone on to take the title. Is that something that you're thinking about?
Well, no, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? There's a long way to go, so you know, it's just hope that I can win the race and history repeats itself.
Is it going to rain?
I don't know. The wind's moving pretty quick now. There was a few spots earlier on, but if it rains, it rains. I'm not going to worry about it.
All right, well, best of luck.
All right, thank you.
And also, the good thing from Adam's point of view is he's got one of the fastest pit crews in the pit lane. 2 pit stops in this race, and they were 3rd quickest this morning, John. Fastest pit stop time went to Australia. 2nd quickest was New Zealand, but 3rd fastest was Team Ireland.
Yes, now you get an idea of the wind that's blowing directly into the cars as they sit on the grid. That's going to have a bearing on the cars as go through turns 5 and then through the right-handed 6, because the way the wind is blowing, it will catch the noses of the cars. So that's something drivers are, again, you can see just how vigorously the flags are being waved, and that's picking up. It's just getting stronger and stronger, and normally it does bring rain with it. But it will have a change to the handling of the cars on the parts of the circuit where they get caught, literally 90 degrees wind onto the nose.
Yeah, Team India on circuit. That's great to see after the damage done to the back of that car when both the United States and Brazil launched themselves over the back of that car. Well, they've got a new rear wing, I'm glad to say, and they've repaired the rear suspension. So great stuff. And Team India will be ready to fight once more. They'll be starting from 8th place on the grid. Team India will be starting from 7th place on the grid. Team USA just one behind them, in fact, and their car is also back on the circuit, ready to fight. So interestingly, they're close together on the grid for this one. India lining up 7th, Marco Andretti is lining up 8th, and I think we can hear from him.
Yes, he certainly is, Marco. Good to see you out here on the grid after the earlier incident this morning, and managed to get all the parts to get back on track.
Yeah, no, we're definitely fortunate for that. I mean, obviously here we have the career rear wing. But you know, it's cool to see all the support from the other teams. I mean, the camaraderie just between the teams is good fun. So you know, they want you out there competing. So it's definitely good to see. So you know, hopefully everything holds up all right, and we'll be going for it.
Yeah, it's a long race. Obviously conditions here are changing slightly, but I'm assuming then that the setup situation for you is more difficult.
Yeah, at that point you just drive it. I mean, obviously as soon as the motor starts, or actually as we speak, it's already too late to make a big setup change. I mean, obviously if the rain comes, you have front wing and brake bias. That's about it. So it comes down to the driver.
How physical is this race going to be?
I think physical just because it's so hot. I mean, it's not a circuit where I come in the pits and you're breathing heavy. It's just that it holds a lot of heat and it's very humid as well. but I'm sure that a lot of the drivers are pleased to see the shade right now.
Thank you, Marco.
Marco Andretti, and as he says, a thank you to the Korean team for passing on their rear wing. They had a technical problem which was not able to be cured here this weekend, so Koreans sadly not on the grid, but they have helped out those teams that were in trouble earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anybody in trouble and there's a car available, you've got to take the bits that are required, and as Marco said, the camaraderie within the A1GP family is such that everybody's trying to help everybody out wherever possible.
Yep, so there is the USA car then, starting from a good 8th place on the grid. And notice who's next up, Team France, Loic Duval. Now, obviously very quick in qualifying, but he was the fastest qualifier in the feature race grid who didn't use his power boost. Most of the guys, well, all the guys ahead of him on that grid did use power boost in qualifying.
Yeah, and it was I find a very mixed reaction to power boost in qualifying. Personally, I think it's the right way to go because it gets away from predictability. But teams like Switzerland, who used it in the sprint qualifying, as did France, then found themselves with a racetrack that was probably quicker in the 4th segment of qualifying than the 2nd of the sprint qualifyings, and therefore they think, oh, it's not fair, we didn't get a run our power boost. But you did, son, you ran it in the sprint qualifying, so don't complain. You've got the choice, you've got 4 options. You took the wrong one in some cases.
Well, the France's lap was very good because he beat 5 cars that were used power boost, and he was the only one up there. New Zealand and Switzerland further back, they didn't manage to beat those guys that had used power boost. Team Malaysia used it very, very effectively, so they're starting well up on the grid for this feature race. They're in 4th place, and a lot of cooling going on there for Faraz Fawzi. There is Loic Duval in the middle, Nicolas Prost on the left-hand side. He was quick again in the rookie session, John.
It was an impressive. I think that's the best we've seen from Nicolas Prost. A great circuit, again, a circuit maybe that suits the style from the Prost dynasty. It's long flowing corners. It's about being neat and tidy. It's not about out and out strength or a physical aggression behind the wheels.
No, so France in good shape, but they are starting in 9th. Those 2 pit stops will be crucial. They had a little delay on their pit stop, and that was why New Zealand were able to get out ahead of them, and so that did cost them a little bit of time, but they'll be hoping for 2 quick stops this time. Behind them on the grid, it'll be Team China. They're starting from 10th place. Monaco starting 11th. And then we won't, unfortunately, I think, see Brazil on the grid. That is the one car from that earlier instant that won't happen. Now then, we're going to go back down to the grid to talk to some senior members of the whole A1GP organisation. Tony Teixeira, Peter Silva and Mario Almondo of Ferrari. Let's hear from them.
Mario Almondo of Ferrari, we're here in Malaysia. Tell us your thoughts and feelings about the event here in Sepang.
It's very exciting to be here. I mean, I hope that some drops will be present during the race, so we will have an even more exciting race. All the grandstands are full of people, so thanks to Tony and Pete. I mean, it's a great weekend. Has been very exciting up to now. We look forward for a very exciting race.
Excellent. And Tony, obviously, the relationship with Ferrari has been a big step forward for A1GP. How is everything going?
Well, look around, you can see the excitement powered by Ferrari, the new series. Obviously, everything's working the way we wanted it to go, and it's our brand partner, it's our engine supplier, and it's a huge name, and everyone in Malaysia is just as excited, and it's working everywhere in the world. Fantastic.
And Pete De Silva, another very successful event here in Malaysia. All the grandstands are full. You guys must be very proud.
Can't wait to come back. We've had good discussions with the government and the circuit owners. Very excited about the event, and let's look to the future.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all three.
Thanks very much, James. And they're up towards the front end of the grid there, around the Ferrari safety car. Suitably enough, the grid beginning to clear of the guests now, so leaving the mechanics on the grid around the cars, getting ready to fire them up. There's Ho Pin Tung of Team China. Now he starts in 10th place for this one, and only 2 points scored by China. He's looking at the weather and thinking, what's going to come along here?
Well, looking to our right, in other words, the very back of the grid, we're looking now back up towards the back of the grid, but from the reverse angle, it is getting quite grey. So whether that is an indication of what we're going to see later in this race. By the way, the pit stop window for the second mandatory pit stop, the first one always will be between lap 8 and 16. Second one is going to come late in the race between lap 20 and 28. And if you choose to do it on 28, then you've only got 6 laps of the race remaining. So it'll be interesting to see whether teams opt to do what they ordinarily do by coming in at the first opportunity, or maybe delay it a little bit more.
So Team China, as we mentioned, seeing if they can score any points. Ho Pin Tung has been in the car for all 3 events so far. They scored some points at Zandvoort, despite being involved in the accident with Lebanon. Now there's Clivio Piccioni. They've done pretty well so far this season in terms of being consistent, and now they've got to see what they can do from 11th place on the grid.